That's right. We're taking a big gulp today because it is another episode of Sippin With Sin. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the number one podcast of stuff and things important to everybody in the world all the time. Super relevant. Top podcast for that. It is proven by people way smarter than us. That's right. Scientists in the lab doing test results, and they come out with that answer, and we just don't question it, okay? But welcome back to another episode. We're happy to have you here for another week and another episode, and we got some fun stuff to talk about this week. But without further ado, let's welcome back the one, the only, Mr. Christian.
Everyone, feels good to be back. We have plenty to talk about today.
We got lots to talk about, and it does not involve men's genitalia. This time. We'll save that for a special episode. A special anniversary episode or something. I don't know. Anyways, what we like to do... Actually, before we get into our normal thing, I'm going to throw a little pivot here. And I'm going to say sorry to our audience. Because last week, we hyped the absolute hell out of NetherRealm's little chat. And I want you to know, it wasn't a damn thing in it. Pretty much they're like, hey, our game's releasing. Go buy the collector's edition. It's a new timeline. That's like...
Yeah.
yeah.
I was super excited for it.
The only thing I got from it was this is the longest they've ever developed a game. I think Ed Boon said that. Other than that, there was like pretty much nothing new. They showed a dude making the statue, which was cool, but for collector's edition. Other than that, I was like, okay, so we hyped this up like we were going to get any kind of anything, and they're like, no. But they said they have a bunch coming very soon, and the combat cast is coming, which we kind of speculated, so we figured they would, so that's cool. But yeah, so I like to apologize because we talked that up big time, super excited, and they were like, game's coming out, see ya. I was like, damn.
So like, we didn't know obviously that's what was going to happen. I didn't get to watch the actual stream until the next day after we had recorded. But the thing is, like, I'm super excited for the game, obviously, but I'm a little bit less excited than I was, only because I need to see the gameplay now. We've seen the cinematics, and like for those of you guys who have played games before and watched a trailer, unless they show you gameplay, it's typically not what the game's going to look like, right?
Most of the time now they have that disclaimer. It's like not actual game footage. Like, in other words, don't be sad when we show you what it really looks like.
Yeah. I don't think the game's going to look bad or anything,
no.
Especially if it looks anything like the last one, then it's going to be
I think it'll look fine visually.
Yeah. But the reason why I want to see the gameplay so much so is because I want to see what the characters are actually going to look like what costumes they're going to have, how the fighting system is it similar to Mortal Kombat 11? Is it going to be a newer thing?
Didn't they redo it? Didn't they redo the combat?
Like,
I think they did.
I don't know. That's why I want to see.
We get a reveal June 8th is gameplay, I think, during Summer Game Fest.
Well, that's what I'm looking forward to then, because of all the things, like, I like Mortal Kombat. I've been a Mortal Kombat fan. I think that obviously I like some more than others, right?
Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat, like, NetherRealm has been experimenting. We'll just say that. And I think experimentation is good. I think it's good to level up. It's good to change things around. But I just don't want them to do something that is so different from the last ones. I'm very, very curious what the story is going to be, because the trailer it gave us the story, but not really. It gave us Shang Tsung. It gave us Fire God Liu Kang. It gave us a couple of characters that we expect to see, like Katana, like Melina, like Scorpion.
You want to hear a crazy theory that if this happens, me personally, I can't speak for you. Me personally, I would be ecstatic.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so, and the person, like, I did a little, like, TikTok thing talking about this. A person that referenced this said, like, in the previous Mortal Kombats, when they announced the game, they emphasized new features. For example, X-rays when that was a thing, or like the different things in there that you could do, like the gear, like they emphasized some of the new stuff so you knew what to expect in the trailer. This one, they didn't emphasize anything.
They did. The
one thing they talked about was the choice is yours, friend or foe. They brought up choices a lot and emphasized choices. So the person that I was reading this theory from, this is a theory, granted. This is not like confirmed. It's just all speculation at this point until NetherRealm says anything. But they said the Mortal Kombat story, would be choice driven. You would have different paths. So, for example, friend or foe with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, stuff like that. And you would have different paths and trees you could go through to have different outcomes. Which, to me, I love games like that with the decisions and stuff. So that would give me a ton of like playability for the game. And I would be super into that for the story aspect of it. I think that would be fun. There was also different scenarios like, what was it? Shang Tsung or somebody was stomping like Sub-Zero's face in on one. Another one, Liu Kang was taking him out. Like, there's different things that could happen. Granted, it's a trailer. And, I mean, they were just showing fatalities with the characters they had. But, I don't know. I would be into a story. I think that would be really cool for a Mortal Kombat game. Like, do you want Sub-Zero and Scorpion to be friends? Or, no, I hate them. I want to fight them. Like, later on, they could mesh into the story with something with if you have them or if you don't have them. And I don't know. I think that would be super dope. I would love that. I don't know how you feel about that. I think you like choice-driven games like that or decision-based games.
I very much so like games where you get to choose the outcome of things, even if it's something so simple as to the point to it's like, where do you want to fight this guy or that guy? Just
Yeah.
giving me the opportunity to choose those things is awesome. And you're absolutely correct. Like that's why games that I love, the Mass Effect series, Sans Armada or whatever it's called, um, Andromeda, excuse me. But like, I love Mass Effect because that was the first game that I remember playing that just let me choose stuff that wasn't like straight up Elder Scrolls, right? Because at the time, the only Elder Scrolls I really had any connection to was Oblivion, and so I did what I could in that game. Later on, you play other ones and you get to make more choices. You start playing stuff like Fallout and shit like that, and it just opens up that world. And it was the first one that I was like fully ingratiated in. Like it gave you the character. You could choose their first name, but it didn't matter because they're only going to call you by the character's last name. You get to choose if you're Earthborn, if you're a spacer, if you're a war hero, like all that stuff. And you do your thing. I love when you get to do that with a game. You get to choose what he looks like or she looks like, what they look like, excuse me, and you just go. And I loved that feeling. It put me in the game. I love when games let you do that. But when it comes to this game, I don't mind being able to choose, but I disagree though. They did emphasize plenty in that emphasized that you're going to be working together with people, which led us to the cameo fighters, right? And for those of you who are listening to this and not watching it on like YouTube, I'm saying cameo fighters in quotation marks because I'm still kind of jaded about that and also afraid of what that's going to mean because I don't know yet. But moving on, the cameo fighters is what they pretty much told us in that trailer without telling us in the trailer. They kept talking about teaming up. They kept talking about to fight this person or to team up with this person. They said that a bunch in that trailer. They showed us characters teaming up and then fighting in that trailer. So that was letting us know that cameo fighters are going to be the new big thing. We had X-rays, now we're going to have cameos. How that works, I don't know. Are they going to replace the X-rays in the game with the cameo fighters at, like that? Like, are they going to have like their own fatality thing? Are they going to have their own X-ray esque thing? Are they going to have some kind of um, specialty move? For an example, if like Goro was a cameo character, a cameo come out and do one of his where he like stretches you out with all his forearms or with all forearms or does the like ground pound thing he does or the jump that he does when he jumps on you and crushes your skull in is that what's going to happen? Is that what they mean by that? Like that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I want to see. That's another reason why I said I want to see the gameplay because I want to see how that game mechanic affects the actual playing of the game and the combo systems and all that stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I want to see, and hopefully they give us that.
Hopefully. We'll find out June 8th, so time recording this, we have a few weeks to go. So, not bad. I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's one of the big things for Summer Game Fest. I'm sure we'll talk in depth on Summer Game Fest when they unveil that with the different announcements and trailers and such. But we're going to go into our first segment, and that is what we like to start every episode with. And we didn't start this week because, we do what we want over here. But we like to talk about what we've been watching, reading, listening to, or playing this past week. And I guess we'll let Mr. Dreadlock himself go first.
Excellent. This week has been a hell of a week, and some time to do some things for me. I was able to start reading a brand new book, and so far so good. I really like this book. It's by Anya Alborn. I think I may have talked about it before. It's called Seed, and the only thing I know about this book going into it is that child apparently gets, and that's really all I know. Like I tried really hard not to look up too much about the book before I started reading it, and I like it, man. Like I'm 72 pages in. Like I just started it recently, and I've just been kind of flying through it. I'm on chapter 6 right now. I don't know how many chapters are in this book as a whole, but it's not that big of a book. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can kind of see it here. It's not super thick of a book. I mean, it's thick enough, but it's not going to keep me for a month. I should be able to get this done in a week or so, depending on how busy I am. So I'm reading that and I really enjoy it. But watching, I finally got to watch some stuff, and I started with a movie. Uh, no, HBO Max is no more. Rest in peace. It is now just Max. I have some thoughts about that, which I'll go ahead and get into real quick. I miss HBO Max. I'm not gonna lie. I miss a couple of things. I miss it just being HBO Max. I don't really like the name Max. It's weird. I don't like it being blue. I miss the purple. Like purple's one of my favorite colors. I heartily miss the purple popping up when you go to HBO Max. And now when I go to Max, it's full of a lot of kind of trash TV in my opinion, like a bunch of 90 Day Fiance, that kind of pops up. So I really have to scroll and see what's going on. But some things I do like, they did add a couple of movies to it. Max, you get profile icons now, which is kind of just a cool little thing that they have. A bunch of Batman the Animated Series and Justice League Unlimited icons are there. So right now I'm rocking the
Didn't
Joker
you already have
to be
profile
changed out.
icons?
If I use them, so I can't confirm nor deny you had
I
them
think
on
we have
HBO
profile
Max.
icons.
I never use it if you did, so I can't
Oh,
say.
well, I'm pretty sure we did. So I don't.
Well,
We're just
I mean, it's
slacking.
good if you did. I'm sure at some point I'll change my profile icon to be a dragon from House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, or it'll be a clicker from Last of Us. It'll be one of the two. But aside from that, I did watch Shazam: Fury of the Gods. I don't know if you've seen that already, Sin. Watch it, and without spoiling anything, my quick thoughts on the movie is it's not the greatest, that's for
Wait,
sure,
what
but it's a fun like one-time watch.
is this? Are you talking about the one with Zachary Levi?
Yes.
Wait, that's out. Like the second one.
Mhm.
When did it come
It's
out?
on Max. It came out as soon as Max turned into Max. They added it.
Oh, hell, I didn't even know it was out. So yeah, I'll watch that next chance I get. I didn't. I for some reason thought that was in June or later on.
It's out right now, so
Okay.
you can totally go watch it at your leisure. I will say the movie is much longer than it needs to be. It's over 2 hours. It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes long. Uh, they definitely didn't need that movie to be that long. Um, what I can say is, some parts are legitimately funny. The premise of the movie is predictable as all hell. Like within the first 10 minutes of the movie, you know exactly what's going to happen. You know exactly where it's going to go. Nothing is surprising about it. Um, it's a good one time. Like I had some enjoyment with the movie. I didn't hate it or anything. I had some enjoyment with it, but I will probably never watch it again. And that's all I can really say without getting into story beats. I don't want to ruin it for you or anybody listening who hasn't watched it yet. But yeah, Shazam: Fury of the Gods. If I had to rank it, 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it a solid 6. Like it's fine to watch once and then you're done. So that's about how I feel about it. Like I said, I didn't hate it. It just didn't like it enough to warrant a rewatch. So there's that. And aside from that, I started watching a show that I meant to watch a year ago on Amazon Prime, and that show is called Reacher, and it has an actor in it I love. I've followed this actor forever. Sin, you and I both this actor, but it's Alan Richson, and
From Blue Mountain
the
State.
first thing first comment was Blue Mountain State is Thad Castle. Funniest
That's a
in the
fantastic
entire
show. A lot of people out there probably
of
have
it.
no clue what we're talking about. If you have any way to watch it, just trust us, watch it. It's hilarious. And he is Probably the best part of the whole show, honestly. He's hilarious.
Absolutely. You remember remember his toy that he had named Oksana, I believe is the name he gave it?
There's so much stuff he does. I think my favorite episode's where he's tripping balls. Do you remember that? And he like the scream he does, because this dude, if you don't know what he looks like, this is like a big beefy guy. Like this dude is jacked. And he is
he's in
linebacker.
Fast X for those of you who haven't seen it.
Do what?
For those of you who don't know who he is, he's in Fast X, the new one that just came out. He's in that.
He's in a lot of stuff. But he screams
he was
with
Raphael.
a high pitched scream and runs, and it is one of the funniest damn things. It's so good. All right, sorry.
Actually, I lied. The first thing I ever saw Alan Ritchson in was Smallville. He played Arthur Curry, or AC, in that show. He was Aquaman.
I mean, that's
the first thing I ever saw him.
I could see it.
I loved him as AC in that show. I wanted to see him because Aquaman was going to have its own show before Arrow came out. Aquaman was going to have his own show, but they recast him, and it was going to be the guy who played Jason Lee, I think is his name. He's the guy who played Green Arrow in Smallville. He was going to actually be Aquaman, and they shot a pilot. Apparently, the pilot was terrible, and Alan Ritchson, dude, I would have loved to see him as AC more. I really, really, really liked his take on the character, a younger, more surfer version of the character, and then Jason Momoa would adopt some of that for his version of Aquaman later on. But I really, really liked that actor. But him as Reacher is legitimately perfect. He is. There's nobody else that could be Reacher. Like, I know there were some Jack Reacher movies that came out before with Tom Cruise, and it doesn't make sense because if you read the books that they come from, Reacher's supposed to be a big, tall guy. He's supposed to be jacked. He's supposed to be tall. He's like 6'5". I want to 6'4", 6'5". And Alan Ritchson is that. He's 6'5". He's like 250 pounds of like solid. Like, dude is ripped out of his brain. And I'm 2-3 right now. Every episode I've watched, the two that I've watched, have been amazing. The acting is good. The story is fantastic. I even looked the rating up to see if the show was getting the proper spotlight that it deserved. It got like an 8 out of 10 on like every rating system that's there. So that's good. I really like the show. Season 2 is coming out, so I'm trying to finish season 1. And for season 2, Alan wanted to get even bigger because it's a season, more explosions, more fighting, more everything. So he did. He got even more jacked for season 2. And there's a bunch of videos and reels of that on his personal Instagram, and it's hilarious. What? And he's a funny guy. He's a family man, so you should definitely check him out.
Titans, right?
Say that again?
He was in Titans, right?
Yeah, he played Hank Hall or Hawk in Titan. Okay.
I thought so. I was trying to remember something I'd seen him in semi recently. That was it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like him as an actor, as a person. He's really down to earth. He's very honest with his following, with his fans. Yeah, man, if you get a chance to watch Reacher, I'm telling you right now, it's 100% worth it. If you like action, if you like thriller, not really thriller, but more like detective, he's kind of like a jacked Sherlock Holmes. Like, to be honest, that's exactly what he's like. He's like a jacked Sherlock Holmes with a gun, and it's amazing. For it. You probably have Amazon Video. Just watch it. Just watch this episode. That's all you'll need. You'll know. First episode sold me on the whole show. I was ready. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. And other than that, like I watched a couple of other things, but nothing that I can really get into without ruining the other stuff we'll talk about. So what have you been watching? You tell us what you've been into.
Okay, so for me, first and foremost, we talked about last week. I didn't get to play as much as I wanted just because it was a busy weekend, but I did play a little of the open beta for Street Fighter 6. Enough that I didn't go play anybody online just because I was like, I'm not ready for that. Mainly, I wanted to just go into the lab and kind of get a feel for different characters and try to string stuff and see what I thought about it. I will say the characters initially, which all this could change when I get my hands on the full game, but characters like Chun-Li, Yuri, Ryu and Ken all seem to be characters that I think I could vibe with and potentially, work on some stuff. Seem pretty good. I definitely have to learn it because for me right now, my brain for a fighter is kind of programmed towards a NetherRealm game. So I'm kind of more adjusted to that. So I'll have to kind of adjust for Street Fighter because it is a little different style of a fighter, the way it kind of works and the way it like flows. But it was solid. I didn't get to play a lot of it. I know some others that played quite a bit that had good things to say about it. It's a cool concept. It was neat going online in the servers because you were running around like this huge. The Battle Hub was like essentially a huge arcade, and so like if me and Christian were in there, we would sit down in an arcade cabinet and like play against each other. It was kind of wild, and you can sit there and spectate. So I was watching like other people have matches. It was pretty neat. It was pretty neat. So I'm excited for the full release that comes out soon, as does Diablo 4, which I'm stoked for. But other than that, I watched some movies. One of them I will go ahead and say I watched now, but we're not going to talk about it. And that movie is John Wick 4. I am waiting because Christian hasn't seen it. Just know that I watched John Wick 4, and I personally really enjoy the John Wick series. So I have thoughts, but I'm holding my thoughts and keeping them inwards until Christian sees the movie so we can talk about it. But yeah, watch John Wick 4. That was one I've been waiting to see. Other than that, I watched a movie called Champions that stars Woody Harrelson and Caitlin Olsen. If you don't know who Caitlin Olsen is, because everybody pretty much knows who Woody Harrelson is at this point. Caitlin Olsen is from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think her name is Dee in there. But I watched
good old
it.
Sweet D.
Yeah. And it's based off a true story from a basketball team, a special needs basketball team in Valencia. So pretty much quick rundown of it. Woody Harrelson's a basketball coach. He gets in trouble, gets sent to community service, and he starts coaching. He's a professional basketball coach, excuse me. He starts coaching a special needs team. And it's a really funny movie. It's a wholesome movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job. And it's a good like family movie. There's quite a bit of like laughs in it. Ghostbusters icon himself, Ernie Hudson's in it. But it was a solid watch. I would recommend checking it out. It's like I said, it's a good family movie. Had laughs, had wholesome moments. Definitely check it out. Me and the wife enjoyed it. Other than that, I watched a movie that I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know much about going in. I had seen the advertisements for it, and I was like, this looks crazy. And I will tell you right away, I fully expected to watch this movie alone because this did not seem like a movie that my wife would like because she does not like John Wick, mainly because of Keanu Reeves, which is a whole nother argument that we can go down. But it just didn't seem like something that would appeal to her. And that movie is Sisu. And I think we say it right. It's pronounced weird. It's a Finnish word. And this movie, like I said, I didn't know much about. I just saw the trailer and I was like, it looks cool. Pretty much what I got from the trailer was get ready for carnage. If you like John Wick, it's like a Western style John Wick carnage. This freaking movie, there is not a lot of dialogue. I mean, there's some. So essentially you have Nazis and then you have this Finnish badass, I think he's Finnish at least, that he's just like this.
I don't know.
I mean, I think it's in Finland. Like, so there was, like there was parts that like couldn't even like really understand. Like there's one part I was like, okay, I need a translator here. Like it didn't have subtitles for me. But dude, the guy doesn't even speak. He just whoops ass. And I'm talking about like over the top kills. Like there's some stuff I'm like, oh my God. But it was pretty badass. Like it was one of them movies where like, first off, they have incredible cinematography shots. Like the camera work, the lighting, the way they like place the shots and position the shots and frame them, all that stuff is really, really cool. It's dirty. He's filthy looking. He's got like blood on him. He's got like dirt and grime, and the Nazis are dirty, and they have like, mud and all kinds of stuff, like grit and all over them. And it's brutal. There's gore and carnage. It is a fun watch. It is a fun watch. It has 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. If you like that style of movie, you will love it. If you like John Wick style. And for her, she actually was like, this movie's good. I like this movie. I'm into it. And I was like, this makes no sense to me. That, like, I feel like there's even less story in this than there is in, like, John Wick, but you're into it. And she was like, yeah, I don't like John Wick. I'm like, you're just confusing me more.
That's so weird to me that she doesn't like John Wick.
She does not like John Wick. And I thought for sure she would. But, yeah, it's different.
For it?
It's, yeah. So essentially, this dude is like, I guess he was an ex-military guy, and he lost everything, literally. Like, he lost his family, and so he had nothing to lose, and they would just send him in solo for missions to go, like, fuck up things. And at the time of the movie, I think he's done, because he's, like, mining for gold or something. He finds gold, and then people just start shit with him. These Nazis start stuff, and then he's like, all right, you want some? Come get some. And then he just starts ruining people's lives.
You want some? Come get
Literally,
some.
like, this dude's like, I can't even explain. Like, I was just like, oh my God. There is some, like, extremely over the top things. I'm like, come on. But at the point in the movie, you're like, this dude just killed, like, how many people? Like, it's okay. Like, you just take it. But yeah, definitely worth a watch. It's pretty cool. Cinematography is really cool. Recommend it. The other thing I watched The Baby Sin last weekend, and that would be the Super Mario Brothers movie. We watch Peaches. That's right.
Peaches.
Yep.
Peaches.
So I've seen mixed reviews on it. I've seen people that loved it, and I've seen people that have just, like, hated it. Me personally, I dug it. I thought it was really good for nostalgia. There was a lot of Easter eggs that I saw in there that I was like, oh, that's this from this, or that's this from this Mario. Like, that's really cool. Like, to me, I liked it personally. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun watch. My wife enjoyed it. Whether or not my son enjoyed it or not, I don't know, because he was kind of running around being a toddler and just causing chaos. But I dug it, and yeah, I will rewatch it for sure. I personally really liked it. I thought Chris Pratt was good.
Yeah, I remember talking about it initially when it dropped in theaters, and I even have a review for it on my TikTok. But to avoid repeating myself again, I had fun with it too. I enjoyed it. It was really good. And I know that they're going to make more. There are going to be plenty of spinoffs. We're probably going to get a Yoshi movie, kinds of shit. I'm just waiting for that universe essentially to start blowing up.
Yeah, but it was a solid movie. Like, it was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I was kind of excited about it, anyways. Just from what I'd heard from some people. Like I said, I heard some people, like, kind of bashing on it, but there was a lot of nostalgia things. Like, yeah, it was a little different, but I mean, you're building a story around a bunch of older games, essentially, and, like, yeah. I thought there was a lot of cool, like, nods to different things, though, in it, and that me personally, as someone who's, grew up playing Mario, I really liked. But other than that, we had a showcase, and I guess that's going to take us to our first. Unless you have anything else you want to say about Mario.
No, I'm good on Mario. I've said enough about Mario.
Okay, you've said enough about Mario. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Also, I could not tell that Peach's voice, the actress from The Witch. If I didn't know that was her, it didn't, like,
sounded just like herself to me, but that's because I've seen her in quite a few movies at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew it was her by her voice, but that makes sense though. If you haven't seen a lot of her stuff, then yeah.
I've seen several of her movies. Just, I don't know, for some reason I was like, that doesn't, like, it's not hitting for me. Like there was nothing wrong with it. Just, I couldn't recognize her voice right away, but I knew it was her, and I was like, huh, well, that's cool, whatever. But it was solid. I definitely recommend it. Especially if you have kids, watch it. Watch Mario. Or you played the old games, watch Mario. All right.
I agree.
So, this past week, we had a PlayStation showcase, and that is where we're going to have the meat and potatoes of this episode. PlayStation had a fairly hyped showcase. They hyped this up pretty well, I feel like, talking about some stuff coming out. And while we're not going to go over the whole showcase, we both have some games that we wrote down to briefly talk about. Do you want me to start down the list, since I'm pretty sure our lists are pretty much right, and we'll just kind of briefly touch on it?
Yeah, our lists are damn near the same. So by all means,
Okay.
please go
Well,
for
this
it.
is, I believe I wrote them down as they were announced. I think, yeah, because, okay, yeah, yeah. So kind of how the showcase went. The first game I have wrote down is not something that when I saw I was like, oh, I'm 100% playing this. I saw enough of it that I was like, okay, you have my attention to see more. I may check you out. I may play you. We'll see. It looks crazy. And that game is Immortals of Avum. It comes out July 30th.
Mhm.
It looked like Outriders with magic, like first person casting, this chaos. So that alone kind of got me where I was like, you may be worth a play. Were you interested in that one at all?
That's something that I would love to watch, like you stream. Here's the thing, to kind of set the path for me. I don't have a lot of time anymore to game. So when I do buy a game, I have to be extremely picky with what I choose. So when I buy a game, it's something that I either know for a fact that I'm going to really like and play all the way through, or it's something that I'm super excited for because it piques my personal interest so much so that I'm willing to take a risk on a game, being good or not. So that's a game that I would love to watch you stream. And if I enjoy what I'm seeing from that stream, then I will at that point take the time out to try to get that game for myself and play it. It did look kind of interesting, but kind of interesting isn't enough for me to
Yeah.
justify like putting it on my list. But yeah, it didn't look bad by any means to say
It
that.
made the list for me, but it's just not something like I saw it and I was like, oh, yeah, it's a for sure buy. If that makes sense. Like, it's enough that I'm going to pay attention to it and see what else is announced.
Yeah,
And if it catches my attention
absolutely.
or a code graces my presence, I'll play it. But this is not something at
Mm.
this particular moment that I'm like, here's my money.
Understandable.
All right. Well, that moves to another game. And this is one I had not heard of. Um, and that game is Phantom Blade. For me, when Phantom Blade was shown, initially my very first thought when I saw it was, there's no shot this is Ghost of Tsushima 2. And then, like, 2 seconds later, I was like, no, it's not. Just the way it looked. Like, I guess it was just the samurai look at first. I was like, Ghost. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, I can already tell how this game looks. It's something different. So to me, it reminded me of Ghost of Tsushima meets like a Souls game, is the vibe I got.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
like a darker samurai style game, but the combat looked fun as hell. Like, it has my attention for sure.
What was the game that came out before Ghost of Tsushima that
Uh,
was a Souls game? Sekiro?
Neo, something like that.
No, Sekiro. I want to say
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it's the one where it reminded me of like Ghost and Sekiro like had a baby because it's like more fantasy at that point, and then you have Phantom Blade. But what I'll say, Blade Zero, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I think
It's
you're
a
right.
hack and slash. It's a hack and slash RPG game that has the feel from what they showed us of a Souls type game, which is awesome. But I'm very, very interested. That game did make the list for me.
Mhm.
That's something that I would take a chance on for sure. That's right
It
up
looked
my
really good.
alley when it comes to gameplay. Yeah.
Looked
I'm,
very, very good.
I'm 100% wanting that. Every time they show us more for that game, I'm going to be looking into it
Yeah.
hardcore because that's something that I'm really interested in. That piqued my interest immediately. So when I saw it as well, I thought, well, this can't be another Ghost game just because of the way that it looks. Like it's similar, but it's not similar enough. And I was like, it's another Sekiro type game. Maybe it's another Sekiro, maybe it's like a Neo 3. Um, and it wasn't. It was its own thing, and I'm really excited about that. It's fantasy enough that it doesn't throw me off, but it's also in the realms of those types of, like we were just saying, Sekiro and Ghost, enough for me to be like, yeah, I want to play that. So that's definitely on my list. I'm going probably just going to take a chance on that one. That one looked a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the atmosphere of that game. I liked the colors. I liked the vibe. The general vibe of that game is just like I said, right up my alley. So yeah, going to take a chance on Phantom Blade Zero.
All right. Well, that
What's
brings
next
us
on
to
your
the next
list?
one, and I will go ahead and say this next one probably got me more excited than anything else. Like, I got the tingle. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
Yeah. So this next one, I have fond memories of this game. And I had seen rumors, and I was like, you know what? I'm not trusting rumors because I'm not letting my little heart get filled with hope for you to stomp on it and then, piss on it and everything else. But this game curveballed the shit out of me because we watched it live on stream. And I remember watching the start of this trailer, and I was like, what in the hell is this? Because it starts with ants crawling around, and then it was a frog, and then there was a bird picking up the frog, and then the bird lands on a log, and a snake eats the bird, and then a crocodile eats that, and I was like, what the hell is this, the Food Chain Gang? Like, what in the hell am I watching? And then from the swamp emerges Snake himself, and I was like, immediately super ecstatic. And the game I'm talking about is Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which is the third installment of Metal Gear Solid, and oh my god, Christian, I was so pumped for that because I remember playing that one when it released, and just you could like fix broken bones, I believe. Like you could get hurt and you would like patch yourself. You ate stuff in the wild in the jungle. It was just so good, so good. There was a boss fight that sucked. I remember it was it the sniper, like an old sniper guy? Is that who it was?
I never finished Snake Eater, so I can't.
I'm stoked for that though. More, give me Snake back. I'm pumped. I can't wait. That one excited the hell out of me. That was a good announcement for me.
That one is also on my list, and they also announced that with because it's Gear Solid Snake Eater, it's a remake, just like they're remaking all the Resident Evil games. So I am excited for that. But they also announced a collection of the old ones as well. So you can get the collection of the older Metal Gear Solid games in one big collection. So I'm ready for that too, to go back and play all the old shit before I start playing the new stuff. So
that comes out. The collection comes out in autumn, I think, autumn of this year.
Yeah, and autumn to me is late September, early October, because that's right. That's essentially fall. So technically September, mid September, I think is.
I would say October,
straight up fall.
I would think October to early November. I feel like it comes out. That's my pick.
I would not.
Christian may have froze. He may have got so excited by Snake Eater and the thoughts that he froze up. I feel like it's an October release. The collection. The collection has Metal Gear Solid. Was it Metal Gear? Is it Metal Gear Rising? I'm gonna look it up real quick. I think it's Metal Gear Rising, which to me was an okay one. Metal Gear Solid. Let's see. 2 is... Oh, no. Sons of Liberty. Excuse me. Sons of Liberty. Metal Gear Solid 2 is Sons of Liberty. And that one has a different main character. But I'm definitely... Yeah, I'm excited. I would like to play them again. I haven't played Metal Gear Solid, like, the first 3 games in, forever. I think Snake Eater come out, if I'm not mistaken, in, like, 2004. So, I mean, we're almost 20 years, 19 years at this point. So by the time it comes out, it'll probably be 20 years for Snake Eater. So that's pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. I remember being into... I may actually still have a strategy guide somewhere for Snake Eater, which is actually pretty wild. But that was a big, big one for me. That announcement, that excited me. And we're gonna... Here he comes. Now he's returning. He's returning to us.
Back in it.
You realize... I'm pretty sure Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater come out in 2004. By the time this game comes out, it'll be 20 years.
I actually remember when it came out because I want to say I think it was my freshman year, like not to age myself, but I think it was my freshman year. And that was the first Metal Gear that I was conscious of it releasing. Because I played Metal Gear 2. I think it's called Sons of Liberty. I played Sons of Liberty. I didn't finish Sons of Liberty, but I did because that game was hard as fuck for me, dude. I got wrecked in that game.
But I remember playing Metal Gear Solid way more than I probably should have. Finding stupid glitches, like what's the one where you could do something in like, was it Meryl would be in like her panties? There's
Yeah,
there's
it
like
was.
so many dumb glitches you could do. Putting C4 on urinals and blowing people up. Like, I did a lot of dumb shit in Metal Gear Solid. But at the time, look, hey, it was entertaining me, and my parents are probably like, leave him alone. He's content in there blowing up people by putting C4 on urinals. Being in a box and shit.
That shit is hilarious now, thinking about it.
All right, we're going to move on to the next game that was announced after that one. That one was one that instantly was very high on my list, that and the collection. Next game was not a new announcement. It's something that is coming out very soon, and pretty much it was just like a newer, I guess, story trailer for it. And that game is Final Fantasy 16. The game comes out June 22nd, and we saw more of the previous trailers had been more on the summon, like being a summon and battling a summon, that kind of trailer. This one was more for the characters leading into being the summon battles. So we saw that. Was that on your list as well, Final Fantasy 16?
That was on my list. The trailer wasn't as exciting as I wanted it to be, but I was already excited for that anyway. And here's the thing, I'm gonna be honest, and this might be a hot take, so if I get a bunch of heat in the comment section and on my personal socials, like bring it. I was not a huge fan of the Lightning collection Final Fantasies. Like I just didn't care, man. I tried, didn't like her too much. I was ready for them to do something else. And Final Fantasy has been kind of in a weird state of flux recently, just because they've been spending a lot of time, like the last couple of years when they were doing the remake for Seven, which I understand because Seven's like one of the most popular ones. But like, dude, I was ready for them to do a new Final Fantasy that wasn't a MMO, and here we are finally. So I'm ready to play a new Final Fantasy game, jump into something, and there we are. Hot take: I didn't care for Lightning. I don't know how many of you guys
Did you play
listening or
15?
watching. A little bit. I played 15 a little bit.
You didn't like 15 either?
It just didn't grab me. It just didn't grab me.
I enjoyed 15. I actually got pretty engrossed in it and the story after a while, and so I didn't want it to.
I liked how much other people liked it, if that makes sense, because it was something different. But I don't know, man. It was kind of weird, like having like a boy band that you play as essentially, and
Yeah.
like doing your thing. It was a little different for me, and it wasn't my favorite, but I didn't hate it. I just couldn't get into it enough to like finish the game.
Fair enough. All right, moving on to the next game that's on our list. I know this is on both our lists, and that game is Alan Wake 2. Confirmed to come out. We got a release date for it, October 17th, and we got a pretty good trailer, actually. There was a lot of creepy shit in it, and it comes out in spooky season, so it's like the perfect time for Alan Wake, and yeah, that one had me right away. As soon as I saw the start of it, I was like, oh, I know this. And as soon as I saw his face, it's like, Alan Wake. Oh, yeah. You already have me. But the trailer was good. What did you think about Alan Wake 2 trailer?
I mean, I'll do this in a nutshell because I know that we're going to talk forever about some games, but Alan Wake is a day one buy for me. I didn't even need to see the trailer. I just needed to know when it was coming out. So Alan Wake, the first one, I love that game. They did do the American Nightmare game that came out afterwards, but it wasn't like a continuation of the story. I didn't care for that one as much. But Alan Wake 2, absolute day one for me. It is coming out the 17th, so at that point I will be a married man. So that'll be one of the first games that I buy.
Is that a wedding present for me? Is that what you want people to get you for your wedding, Alan Wake?
I'm not gonna say like no, but also if somebody does want to buy me Alan Wake, I'm not gonna be like, no, don't do that for me. Like, yeah, if somebody wants to get me Alan Wake,
your partner would be
too,
like, oh yeah, it's totally what we need. That's very practical.
Exactly. She's gonna be pissed either way because it's times I'm not spending hanging out. But I get it. But yeah, man, I can't wait for Alan Wake. I'm super excited. Super excited.
The trailer's awesome, and any of these games, if they sound interesting to you, you can see them on YouTube and stuff like that. There's plenty of they've posted the different trailers for the games. So we're gonna continue kind of speeding along through these because we're starting to run short on time. But next game, not gonna lie, I don't know. I'm on the fence on it. I played the last game, most of it. I didn't finish it, but it did look good. It's going back, I feel like, more towards its roots, and that game is Assassin's Creed Mirage. That also comes out this year in October, I think. I didn't write that down.
I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm glad because that's also on my list thing. I have a love hate relationship with Assassin's Creed, and here's the thing: Assassin's Creed is one of those series that is either really good or it's really bad, and I haven't played every single one of them, but I definitely have some favorites. One of those being uh, Black Flag. Black Flag was the first Assassin's Creed game that I was like, I would swear by. I loved it. I did play three. I liked three because I think Assassin's Creed 3 is the first one that you could. No. It wasn't three. Whichever the first one is that had multiplayer, I
Wasn't that
played the
3?
shit.
We played 3
I think
together,
that,
I think.
yeah, I played the
That was like the
shit out of the
Colonial War or
multiplayer on
whatever,
three.
the Revolution or something. Or it was some.
Yeah, I played a lot of that. There was Revelations there. I actually might even just go ahead and look up all the games just so I can like kind of talk about it
I'm gonna be honest.
in a better range.
After 3, I don't. I played a tiny bit of Black Flag, and I don't think I really played one until Valhalla. And then I played.
See, I didn't play Valhalla and I wanted to, but
It was
I
good,
didn't
but I
have
played
the
it. I just didn't
means.
finish it, and I had got sidetracked on so much. And by the time I got to it, like there was other stuff coming out, and it was one of them kind of situations that, yeah. And then it's hard for me to
So
get time to play off stream, if that makes sense.
I understand. Yeah. So Assassin's Creed 1 when that came out, I played it, but I didn't love it, but it was cool. It was something different at the time. You know, it reminded me of Prince of Persia, so I enjoyed it. Assassin's Creed 2 was the start of like the Ezio craze. Um, I remember now the game. So I'm looking it up. Full disclosure: Brotherhood was the first one that had multiplayer. I played the piss out of Brotherhood. That was my favorite one. Then Revelations came out, and I played a little bit of that, and it was fine. I played three a little bit because when three came out, um, I think I was graduating or getting ready to graduate college, so I didn't have a lot of time to really like put into any other games. So I didn't play too much of three. Black Flag came out in 2013. I played the shit out of that game. It was my new favorite. And Rogue came out. I don't think I played Rogue at all. Unity came out, and the only reason I played Unity is because I bought my at the time Xbox One had just come out. I bought an Xbox One and it came with Unity, so that was the first game that I ever played on that system. Came out, never played it. Origins came out, never played it. It looked cool, but I never played it. Odyssey came out. I didn't play Odyssey, but I desperately wanted to play Odyssey because it was right up my fucking alley, and I love the time period. And then Valhalla came out. Desperately wanted to play that one as well, but it just wasn't in the cards for me to play Valhalla. And I heard some pretty good things about it. So with this new one, I do want to play this new one, but I want to see a little bit more of the gameplay before I commit to Mirage. But it does look good. It piqued my interest. I put it on my list. I do. That's probably going to be a game that I end up getting anyway.
Okay. All right, on to the next one that was announced, and I'm sure Christian's going to have a lot, so we're going to have to keep him in a nutshell, essentially. But this next one, I got a text from him when it was announced, so I know he's excited, and that would be Dragon's Dogma 2.
Let's go, baby! I've been waiting for Dragon's Dogma 2, dude. I played the first Dragon's Dogma when it dropped. I played the shit out of that game. I loved it. Finished it, started playing it again. I don't remember the story at all, and that's probably not good. I just know that I really enjoyed the gameplay, just running around, fighting stuff. I died a lot, but it was cool, man. I just really, really liked it. So hearing the new one coming out finally, I can't tell you how pumped I am for this game. I'm so ready. That's another day one buy for me. Oh my god, I'm so like just talking about it. Like you can't see it right now because unfortunately my camera's not working very well. I have goosebumps right now talking about this game. I absolutely love Dragon's Dogma, and Dragon is like I know it has like a Netflix like 3D anime show. I watched the first episode, didn't care for it, so whatever. But it just gives me hope that we're gonna get more games that I want, and that later because I think you have call question that may coincide with this. So I'll wait for this to say it then, but it gives me hope for something else, and I'm super super excited. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. It at the time when they dropped that, that was my most anticipated game coming out. Like I was the most hyped for this, but then something else happened that we'll talk about here in a minute. Yeah, I'm super, super excited for Dragon's Dogma 2. It's a day one buy. If I have a collector's edition, I'm getting that. Like whatever it takes. I can't fucking wait, dude. I'm so
Hey,
excited.
Christian, secret time. I don't think I've ever played Dragon's Dogma.
Oh man, dude.
So
Like
it looked good. It looked good enough that when I saw like before they announced the name and stuff, I was like, okay, this looks dope. I could play this. I definitely want to check it out. That's one that obviously it's on my list that we're going over, but it's one that made the list. I was like, I would play this. This looks like something up my alley that I would enjoy. So that was a good announcement. Time to move on to the next one. The next one,
let's do it.
In context, I put it on my list. It's not something that like I have to buy, but I put it on my list because I feel like as a creator that I could make funny stuff around this, and I feel like my audience would enjoy it to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2. I told them it's something they would have to earn. It may be like a goal to make me play it. As a horror fan, obviously I appreciate them. They're good at jump scares and stuff. Is it something like I have to play? No. Like, I'm not huge in the Five Nights at Freddy things. I get it. They're spooky games. Like, I've played some of them before. But I put it on my list just solely for that. But it's not like a Dragon's Dogma or Alan Wake or any of those as far as like something that I really want to play. But yeah, so they got on there. I'm sure it's not on yours because I'm sure you don't care.
It is not on mine. I do want to see the movie. But I'm not looking forward to playing Help Wanted 2. I hope it's good though. I do. I hope it's really good.
It's funny for like, it's not something you could play a lot, but I think you could play it like as a night stream or something, as like a funny jump scare, kind of like that kind of content. For me, like, not saying listeners out there, it may be something that you grind and play all the time. More power to you. Just for me, it's not something that like I'm gonna have a ton of hours into, if that makes sense. It's gonna be something for fun, for the laughs, you know.
Yeah, the Five Nights at Freddy's is absolutely a game series that I wouldn't mind watching. I'd watch somebody stream those games, but I don't have any intention on playing them for myself.
Fair. All right, next up, we got a game that I honestly didn't know was being planned, but I had heard a lot of people were anticipating Bungie's new first-person shooter game, and we got the announcement, and that game is Marathon. So, initially, when I saw, first off, the graphics look crazy. They were very bright and colorful, which kind of threw me off. But whenever I saw Marathon, that has something, and I may have misspoke whenever I was reacting to it on stream. Marathon has something to do with Halo, whether that was what preceded Halo or the first title of Halo, I cannot remember, but Marathon was something Bungie did before Halo. So I don't know if it was a game they actually published or a working title. It never got published because there's Easter eggs in Halo containing to Marathon. So Marathon is Bungie's new title. They don't really give you much. It's a pretty short trailer, essentially to someone getting shot. What I'm understanding now, what I'm hearing is that Marathon is an extraction shooter similar to like an Escape from Tarkov or DMZ from Call of Duty, stuff like that. I have not been big into those, so I don't know if it's going to be my cup of tea, but I'm definitely keeping my eye on it. I have a lot of faith in Bungie. I do like Bungie stuff. I've enjoyed Destiny. Obviously, I'm a big Halo fan, so I'll definitely check it out and keep my eye on it. Whether or not it's a day one buy, we will see, but it was enough to make the list of stuff that I'm going to at least keep my eye on. So we had Marathon announced, and we lost Christian again. I don't know what's going on there, but something broke for a minute. Yeah, I love it. We're going to blame Christian, and his excitement for Dragon's Dogma potentially broke everything. But yeah, so other than Marathon, right after that they announced, I cannot remember the name of it. It didn't make the list because I haven't played Destiny 2 in a long time. There's nothing wrong with Destiny 2. I like the game. I used to play a lot of Destiny, a lot of the expansions. I played a lot of Destiny 2. And then I just kind of drifted away, and I haven't really kept up with it, and I haven't got on the expansions and haven't done all that stuff, and I kind of just haven't done it. But from my understanding, what I was told while reacting, this is the final expansion of Destiny 2, so we will see what they do with it. And I know they brought back Nathan Fillamon, whatever his name is. What's his name? Christian?
On Nathan Fillion?
Yeah, he's coming back as Cade 6 or 7 or I don't know. I'm sorry, I haven't kept up with the Destiny story, but they did announce it. It didn't make my list. Like I said, I haven't played Destiny 2 in a very long time. I kind of just fell out of that. But it was a cool announcement, and I understand it's the end. Christian, I pretty much told them my understanding Marathon. It made my list because it's a Bungie game. It's a shooter, but I think it might be an extraction shooter, like an Escape from Tarkov. And I've not been really into those. I've never really played them, so I don't know how I feel about that. But I'll definitely. It's something I'm gonna keep my eye on.
That's fair, man. That's definitely not on my list. Like those types of games aren't things that I want to be really spending money on right now, to be honest. But I understand why so many other people like that type of game, and I figured it would be something on your list. So it's surprising to hear it kind of otherwise. But
No, it's on there. Just like when I first saw it's one person getting sniped. And I was like, this looks crazy. But then when I read a little more about it later, that's when I think it said an extraction shooter. And I was like, I've never really got into those. I've never really played them. I understand the concept behind them and like the intensity and like the adrenaline of it and like losing all your stuff and everything. We'll see. I'll keep my eye on it, maybe. But yeah, it may be my first one to try. I don't know. We'll see. But it's enough to make the list and something I'm keeping my eye on.
I will say that I played Destiny a little bit, and I did play Destiny 2 for a while, up until like the first round of DLC came out. And then it really just wasn't my thing anymore. But the only kind of like looter shooter grinder type games like that I really enjoy are I like Borderlands. Like Borderlands is the only looter shooter that's ever just held my heart.
I think we
And
played Destiny together at one point, didn't we?
we played, yeah, we did. We played Destiny together for a little while. But like I said, it's just not really my cup of tea.
I forget the name of it.
But like I said, man,
I didn't put it on my
if
list,
they
but I think
announce a
that
new one,
expansion is the last Destiny 2 expansion. So I think that's it. I don't remember what it's called.
yeah, that's true.
But all right,
I mean, yeah,
it's
I got you on that. It is the last one that's confirmed for that DLC and stuff. So they'll do a Destiny 3 after that, which, like I said, not excited for. But if they announce a new Borderlands, all in.
So that brings us to our next one and our final game of the showcase, and that game is Spider-Man 2, which comes out sometime in the end of the year. That's about all we know. Spider-Man 2. It was pretty lengthy. Obviously, they saved, their big exclusive for the end of the show. It was a pretty lengthy gameplay trailer. Like it wasn't just a cinematic. It was pretty lengthy. Like it lasted several minutes.
I think it was 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was, because I remember I was like, dang, this is going on for a while. You bounce between Miles and Peter. Peter already has a symbiote. It starts though with Kraven, which me at first, I had like a 50-50 in my head, because it doesn't initially start like, hey, Spider-Man. It starts in a jungle, and when he come walking up, I was like, I don't know what this is. And then when he walked up, I was like, oh, he's either a weird, different looking Sabretooth that they're doing, or it's Kraven.
I saw that. I saw that on your stream, and because I wasn't in the I wasn't in the chat at the time. I was yelling at you on the screen, and you could hear me. I was like, "It's fucking Kraven!" And like you obviously couldn't hear me.
The only reason I thought Sabretooth was there was like some like I think his necklace and like the pattern of his vest. So I said Sabretooth, and I was like, maybe this is Wolverine. But then as he was talking more, I was like, this is not Sabretooth. Like Sabretooth's gonna look different. And then I was like, this is freaking Kraven. I know who this is now. And then sure enough, it's Kraven, which is one of the villains. Obviously, Venom and them will be also more of the villains. I think there's going to be several villains. But you can bounce between Miles and Peter, which is dope. I'm really excited for that because I did love both parts of the game and playing both characters. It looked fun. I mean, it was Spider-Man. The first game was fantastic. So it looks good. I know you have thoughts on it, so go ahead, sir.
All right. So when the trailer started, I knew that it was Spider-Man because they were in the jungle. I knew that it was Kraven because of the guy was hunting. I knew that guy wasn't Kraven, so I figured there was either one of two things. Either Kraven, or that was another hunt that Kraven was on. Turned out to be another hunt. And I'm not saying, yeah, I knew everything because I'm the shit. It was just I'm so ready for Spider-Man, and I've actually been keeping up with a lot of the news for Spider-Man. I just haven't really talked about it much on the podcast, but I've been keeping up with the Spider-Man news hardcore. Tony Todd is voicing Venom, and I am so fucking excited for that. Like, oh my god, I would listen to him be Venom all day if I could. I can't wait. And for those of you who don't know, Tony Todd is the original Candyman. For those of you a little bit younger and watch The Flash, he did the voice of Zoom in the Flash TV show on CW. He's been in a lot. He's been in everything. He was the mortician in the first, I want to say, three Final Destination films. He's been in a lot of stuff. But I can't wait for him to be Venom. I can't fucking wait. It's perfect. It's perfect. And I've heard him do the Venom voice. It's really good. I've heard what it sounds like with the modulation they put on it to make him a little bit more ethereal sounding. It's fantastic. Um, I was very surprised that they started the gameplay off with Spider-Man. He already has the black suit. I was not prepared for that. Didn't know that was going to happen. That surprised the shit out of me. They showed us gameplay of what it's like to play as Peter with the black suit. It's amazing. It's kind of so for those of you who played Spider-Man games before, there are a couple of Spider-Man games that have come out in the past, been really, really good. One of them is it's people sleep on this game. It's called Spider-Man Web of Shadows. In that game you can choose to switch whenever you want mid gameplay between regular Spider-Man and black suit Spider-Man. Each Spider-Man has a different combat system. They swing differently, they obviously look differently, and that was one of the first Spider-Man games I ever played, or actually the first Spider-Man game I ever played, where you got to make decisions. We talked about that earlier in this episode of the podcast. So with Spider-Man Web of Shadows, it's the whole point of that is Venom fights Spider-Man at the beginning of the game. A piece of Venom's symbiote comes off of Eddie Brock and goes to Spider-Man. Spider-Man has the black suit again, and Spider-Man decides to kind of use the black suit to handle some shit he needs to handle that's going on in the city, and it becomes a huge. That's the baseline of the game. You get to choose when you fight bosses in that game if you want to fight them as Spider-Man or Black Spider-Man. When you do so, if you fight them as Black Spider-Man, obviously you're a lot more aggressive. You do a lot more shit. If you're regular Spider-Man, you do the regular kind of Spider-Man thing, which is awesome. But in that game, Black Cat shows up. There's a whole side quest with Black Cat. You can choose to do that as Black Spider-Man, and it's different. You guys make out. Yeah, you flirt way more with her. You kind of choose her over Mary Jane, which gets to happen in the game. I love that kind of stuff. And there, like I said, there are other games where you get to play as Black Suit Spider-Man, but none like that. And this game feels like they listened to fans who played Spider-Man Web of Shadows and then gave us what that gameplay was supposed to be like, with the tendrils coming out and stuff. You're not just shooting webs and you're in the black suit, you're doing everything Spider-Man normally does. He just has a different skin. No, 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 no. You were fighting as that version of him, the Venom symbiote, what it looks like, what it feels like, what Spider-Man talks like, how aggressive he gets, how it affects him, how it affects how much he hits people. His combat is completely different. I love all of it. I cannot wait to play this. I'm so excited to see Venom though in this game, and I'm sad that he wasn't in this trailer, but I'm also really happy because that gives me so much more to look forward to. The game doesn't come out to the end of the year. It's probably not coming out till November, because Spider-Man games like this typically come out holiday season.
Yeah,
So the
makes
best
sense. It'd
time
be
for
the
that to
big
come
holiday
out,
release for them to get like the holiday
exactly.
money.
Exactly. The best time for that to come out is mid to late November because that way everybody's buying it for little Johnny for Christmas, right? So
They can buy it for me for Christmas too.
you guys can buy it for me for Christmas as well. Like, I will not say no. So, but to kind of continue the conversation, like, we got to see that, and then also, like you said a minute ago, we see him switch to Miles. They did confirm today, actually, that this game is single player. There is not going to be multiplayer, which I'm excited about personally because I don't want this game to be multiplayer because every single time games like this introduce multiplayer, the story and the initial gameplay suffer. And I don't want that. So I'm really, really excited for this game. I'm excited for the story. I'm excited for the gameplay. I'm excited to be Miles. Obviously, they telegraphed the shit out of it. That Miles is going to have to fight Peter in this game because he's going to be overtaken by the symbiote. I cannot wait to see how this plays out. I would absolutely love to, because this.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Christian again. Gotta love the technical issues. I don't know what's going on with it today. But yeah, it's definitely, you'll definitely have to fight Peter at some point, just because the symbiote will take over. And Miles, it's gonna be fun just because they do play a little different.
I feel like I cut out there, and I apologize.
You did.
But what I was going to say was what I would like to see towards the end of this game, because I don't know what's going to happen in the game yet, because they haven't told us too much. They just told us enough to get us super excited, right? We saw the whole lizard thing. He looks fucking amazing, by the way. I love the way that the lizard looks in this game. He looks fantastic. I hope they don't renege on that and change it, because he looks great. And he reminds me of the way the lizard looked in the Spider-Man MTV animated show that was like 3D, like cell shaded 3D. Like, I don't know if you've seen that or not, but it's on Disney Plus. If you have not watched that Spider-Man show, you need to watch it. It's MTV's Amazing Spider-Man. It animated. It's one season. It's easy to watch. It's dated for sure, but it's really fun. It's way more adult than any other Spider-Man animated series I've ever seen, and it's nostalgic for me because I used to watch that growing up. So anyway, the thing I would love to see at the end of this game, I would love to see them resolve the conflict with Venom and Peter. He's out of the black suit, he's back to normal, and a piece of the suit attaches itself to Miles, and Miles doesn't know about it. So it opens us up for the next game where you get to play as black suit, venomized Miles. I would love that. So we'll see what happens.
That's definitely a must, though. The first game's fantastic, and yeah, that one was an easy one. We already knew it was coming, but the gameplay further cemented that as a must play. Even people that don't get into story games, we have one that comes in the stream all the time. He's not into story games. He loves Spider-Man. He loved the Spider-Man game, so he was like, "Oh yeah, that's for sure." PlayStation also announced what was it, like their little handheld cloud thing that I don't really. We'll have to find out more information on it. I don't want to really speak on it because there's not a lot on it. What?
It's a PlayStation streaming device that they made that's coming out. And because I don't stream, that's not something that I'm necessarily interested in. But if it does what they say it's going to do, then it'll be, a little bit of a game changer. It'll be really cool. So we'll see what happens. But
And
that's
earbuds.
One of those things. And yeah, and earbuds. That's one of those things that, like, I'll definitely just wait to see what happens, and to see how people react to that.
All right, but that's gonna do it. That was it for the PlayStation Showcase. It was pretty solid. I mean, Naughty Dog was missing from it. There was a couple studios that are missing, but hopefully we'll get some stuff from them soon. Stuff they're working on. I know there's rumors floating around, but that was it. All in all, I think that covered both our lists, did it not? Nothing.
It did.
Okay, perfect. Well, it's time then, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to that episode where we must
pass the whiskey.
That's right. Get your
whiskey
as we go into last call. And I got the last call this week because since we just had the PlayStation Showcase and we had some announcements and some confirmations and so forth, Summer Game Fest is around the corner, literally a couple weeks away. So it got me thinking, is there one game you hope gets announced or they give a release date for Summer Game Fest this year? Christian, if you don't have one right now, I can throw one. The first one, it was honestly one that I was hoping for would be on PlayStation Showcase.
Mm-hmm. I have two, but I'll go last. You go first.
The first thing that came to mind whenever I was thinking of this, and that is Silent Hill 2. I wanted more on it. I wanted them to be like, hey, come in 2023 or hey, come in 2024. Like, I wanted that just because I'm waiting on that patiently. So that was one that I was I hope gets announced in the showcase. And yeah, that was mine.
That makes a lot of sense. I fully expected them to show that game off, and I'm surprised that it didn't. So I figured that would be your game, so I didn't want to say that one as well. But I have two others that I really, really want to see get announced. One of them, it's rumored, and the other one is not rumored at all. It's just something that I personally really want, so I'm being selfish. So I'll start with the one about me being selfish. That one is, I would absolutely love to hear an announcement that they are at least working on a new Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. I love those games. I think that they're all fantastic. I didn't get to play the last one that came out on the Switch. I do have a Switch now, so I probably can just go and find it and play that one. But I really, really want them to make another one of those. I'm so excited for that. Like I said, hasn't been announced. Nobody's talking about it. It's not in the zeitgeist whatsoever, but it's something that I really want personally. And the other game that I hope that this is the game I was alluding to earlier when I said I would really like to see this come out. And I said I would talk about it later because the last call, this is this. I want more than anything else for them to announce a new Dragon Age. Please, God, release a new Dragon Age. That's what I want more than just about any other game coming out at all. Like I'm a huge fan of Dragon Age. It's to me, it's just like Mass Effect. Like I want another Mass Effect, but I'm not gonna hold my tongue for that. I do, however, really, really want a new Dragon Age game. Please give me that. So that's the one for me.
All right. Another one, actually thinking about it, Silent Hill 2, and then I would love to know more about Fable. I would like to get something on Fable, like an update, a release, anything, trailer, something.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Listener, thank you. If you made it this far, you're a real one, and we appreciate you. So crisp high fives all around. But if you'd like to have your question submitted in the last call section of the podcast, join the Gilded server, gilded.gg/sinister. Pack in the application just put from the pod, and there is a whole section dedicated just to last call questions to get it featured. Just submit it there, and then you can get featured on an episode. We'll answer your question. There's also one about episode chat, drinks. You can talk to Christian's Corner. And then there's Sinister Tales, where you can submit spooky stuff that goes bump in the night, a story that either happened to you or something you found on the internet. You can also submit your question via social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Sippin With Sin, SIPPIN with Sin. Go follow over there. DM us your question. That's another way to get it featured. And then, of course, our episodes drop every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Central Time on Apple, Spotify, Google, Overcast, Anchor.fm, and more. That's right, 8 a.m. Central Time every Wednesday. Go rate it 5 stars. Share it with a friend. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Keep spreading the word about it. And if you enjoy the video version, it drops on my personal YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister, every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time as well. Go over there, thumbs up it. You can comment. And don't forget to subscribe because we're getting close to milestones. You can find me if you'd like to hit me up on my personal socials at IamSinister TV on Twitter and Instagram. And then you can find me streaming on kick.com/IamSinister. You can also find my Twitch at twitch.tv/IamSinisterTV and Facebook.com/IamSinisterTV. And, of course, TikTok at IamSinisterTV. So that's where you can find me. Hit me up. Say hello, Zio. Christian, where can the lovely folks find you?
You guys can find me on my personal Instagram at Venin Inc., all one word, VENANKIND, all one word, guys, Venin Inc. You guys can also find me over on the Twitter for my personal podcast, which is Horrorverse. And you guys can find me pretty much anywhere, Horrorverse, just one word. I'm everywhere there. You guys can say what's up, talk to me about horror movies whenever you want. Say what's up to me. I'm usually around. And then aside from that, you guys can find me on TikTok at my name, Christian Vincent. I post reviews for horror movies. I post reviews for horror books. And then I post a little bit of art on there as well. So that's where you guys can find me.
Nice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening again. We appreciate you. Don't forget to rate it 5 stars, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. Share it with a friend, like we already said. But you don't have to go home. But you got to get the hell up out of here. It's time that we shut down until next week. Christian, close it down.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us yet again for another episode of Sipping with Sin. Be sure to leave a 5-star review if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you're not, leave us a review on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you're listening to your podcast. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want to see. We're all down. But before you guys leave, I'm going to leave you with 3 words. 3 words that I always leave you with every week. If you know them, say it with me. If you don't, listen carefully. And those words are, don't get gutted.
See you guys next week.